It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
I don't want to lose. I want to win.
I need professional help.
Sports Betting Weekly.
Sports Betting Weekly, sponsored by EasySportsData.com. The books use data, shouldn't you too? And this is Easy Sports Data, like the preschoolers use. EasySportsData.com.
I win here and I win there. Now what?
Sports Betting Weekly.
I want to win.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
You should also check out SportsBettingLessons.com. You'll learn some old tricks because sometimes how you bet is more important than who you bet. SportsBettingLessons.com.
Let's just do it. Let's meet this thing head on. And you were in it to win it. Talk about an education.
Sports Betting Weekly.
Wow, winning.
Sports Betting Weekly.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Welcome to Sports Betting Weekly, or as we're going to call it today, our championship footballs.com Super Bowl 56 72-hour pre-sale extravaganza.
Say that 3 times fast. I dare you.
We'll talk about that. I am dealing with some technological issues here. I got the sun this time of year. You know, I'm not going to complain, John. I'm not sure about how it is in Vegas, but it was 80-something degrees here today.
Oh, yeah. We were about the same. We're in the mid-70s, so it's beautiful. I love it.
Degrees, don't get me wrong, but it definitely at this time of year, the sun is a funny thing. Let's do this. Let's get right to where we are. I am second half. Chaz, if you're watching live, it's about 8 o'clock in New York somewhere. Wherever you are, I always worry about what time is it in New York. It's 8 o'clock in New York. You're in the right place because we're going to hop right into some live action with John from GMF Sports Consultants and Black Hawk West from 151 Sports Investing. We do have a lot to talk about. However, let's start with what we're gonna wager on. So that's, I think, always for me an important aspect of the show. Let's see here. We've got a lot of things going right now. So there's some crazy Olympic hockey lines. We'll talk to Wes about that. We've got, of course, our college basketball. We've got our NBA. We've got our NHL. I've got some opinions on most, but I'm going to start with John because I think John has a stronger opinion than I have.
Yes, sir. We're actually, this is going to be, people can still jump on this live right now. It's about to tip off. We're actually on Duke tonight, -7. Looking for them to kind of bounce back off that disappointing loss. Crazy game they had against Virginia. Very rare that you see a Duke team lose back-to-back games, so I'm looking for a strong performance out of them here playing versus Clemson, which is very good too. These two teams know each other very well. Just got a little bit more faith in Duke bouncing back with the players that they got right now.
That makes sense. Now, I will say that now that football is winding down, and we're going to talk a lot of Super Bowl 56, but while football is winding down and college basketball is picking up, it's really, I forgot because I don't really watch college basketball that much until now, and I forgot how exciting it is. And we've had some great games, but the one thing we have learned, Black Hawk West, is if John gives you a play from GMF Sports Consultants and it doesn't cover the first half, you should bet it at halftime again.
If he gives you a play, shut up and play it. He's going to be right more than he's going to be wrong. I don't care how weird the school is. I don't care what the first half looks like. Just play it. You're going to win more than you're going to lose, and you might not know the school, but you're going to cash.
I think it's on a double-digit run of if he gives you a team and they're losing in a halftime, bet him in the second half. He's done it, every single game this week for sure. So let's talk about you. Do you have Black Hawk West from 151 Sports Investing? Any plays that we're going to hop on?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of scalping plays, just scalping live action plays, looking for value on better teams, favorites that are just down. And I found a lot of good success with it. So the one that I'm on, I jumped on Coastal Carolina for this second half. They were down by 11 to end the first half. They at times can get off to slow starts, but they also can get very streaky. So they may lose this game, but they just need to lose it by 9 in order to pay us. So it was -1.5 for the second half. I'm on the mullets. It's very weird to be looking at the basketball version of the mullets, but I like the line. There's just a lot of value there as a 1.5 point favorite now down by 11.
Yeah, no,
It's a big
they have.
difference.
They have, without a doubt, the football side of that school treated us rather well, no doubt about it. All right, so I am hopping on that play. Now, I didn't get it at halftime, so I'm taking what I can get. And it's saying that I'm going to get plus 11.5.
Which so you caught a better line than I did because
You got a
mine
better
is
line.
mine's the equivalent of plus 9.5.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did not. Maybe I did not catch a better line than you because it's live action, and now it's down to 10.5, plus 10.5. So we'll see if that's
Okay.
all right. So a plus 10.5, I'm down by 12. So I need it to be a 1 point game, right? Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So first things first, let's do some recapping of the. I'm gonna start with my recap of the Betaway weekend because without a doubt, like all your children, you got to love them all equally. So I don't really differentiate which Betaway weekend was better than the last, but this one was pretty damn good. Now, the fact that I sat at a blackjack table or I sat at a 3 tables. I sat at a 3-card poker table with $40. And in the very first hand, I sat on the guy was in the second spot. You know how there's like 7 seats, right?
Yeah, a couple chairs.
Next to him on the right, like I was trying to hit on him. I moved over a couple. The dude got a royal flush dealt to him, or straight flush, and he was playing quarter chips.
Nice.
He was playing dimes, and he cashed for $1,500. It took so long to pay him that I ended up leaving, but I was really happy for him because that meant I'm in the right spot.
Yep.
So I go tell everybody I just saw a guy win $1,500 in one hand on a royal flush. It was so cool. Then my kids playing poker. Johnny was heading out. John had already dropped us off, and we were. So I said, "Well, let's go." But let me hit the roulette table, and my birthday came up, so I turned 40 into 450 or something. So yeah, happy birthday to me. And and then John, your hospitality was exceptional to say the least. But boy,
thank you.
Had some fun, did we? I mean, we hung out all day in the sports book, and don't get me wrong, the Strat Sportsbook is not the Superbook. The Strat Sportsbook is not Circa, but for what we needed that day, it couldn't have been better. It was our sports book. I mean, at one point, the only person, Wes, that I was going to get shut out was Chaz, because he was in front of me trying to bet horses and he didn't know what he's doing. Finally, I went up to him, right? And so I said, "Do you need me to help you? Because if I get shut out in a horse race because my son couldn't get his bet in because he doesn't know what he's doing, I will be very, very upset." And I hit every race, every single race I hit.
You had every race. Very chalky, but
you saw the Pegasus Stakes card, Wes. It was chalky, but guess what? I kept cashing. But more importantly, John, what did I keep bringing back besides my quarters?
Drink tickets.
Drink tickets. Oh yeah, we had a stack of them.
Drink tickets. So great.
Easily, I think over 100, and we struggled to try to finish those at the end.
Yes. Well,
before we got out.
Yeah. You could come by. I was switching over to doubles. Take 2 tickets. You need a double. These tickets, but it just really was. It was one of the best time ever. Then the next day, I'm waiting for breakfast. So I'm buying breakfast, right? Because I'm winning. That's how it is. If I'm winning, I'm buying usually. So. And it's not just me, of course. Everybody's like that. When you're buying, you win. You're winning, you buy. So we I'm waiting for the breakfast, and I go over to because we got our seats now. John, the Superbook. We got.
Oh yeah, got to get there early.
We did. We got the bomb seats. Oh my God,
nice.
And so, but I will say the Superbook was not as crowded as it has been in the past because remember, a couple casinos have opened. Circa is one of them. And so, there's a little more competition because they are far out there, but it was just great. So you save the seats, guys, and I'll go take a picture of the menu and I'll send it back. You tell me what you want. So they're taking forever. So I'm wandering around because I still hadn't played my Wheel of Fortune and I couldn't really find anything that I like because I'm old school. I like, the Wheel of Fortune. I don't want 15 lines where I got to pay. So I finally sit down at a quarter machine. I put in my same $40. That was my MO this weekend was I'm going to put $40 out and see what the Lord brings me. Well, on the second hit, I get a Wheel of Fortune, and I hit the Wheel of Fortune, and I win $50 right now. I was at
there you go.
I won 50 quarters. So then I'm looking down, and I got like 85 quarters, and it says there's like, in the old days, you just put your 3 quarters and you pulled the handle. That's what now you can push buttons, put your handle, this and that. So there were like 6 of them across, and the last 3 were this gold thing. I didn't even know what it was, but it's a gold thing. So I hit 10. So I'm betting 10 quarters on every spin. I figure I got 8 spins, then breakfast should be ready, and I'm good to go. And about on the 3rd spin, I get the gold thing. So I don't even know what it is. And all of a sudden, on the video screen, another Wheel of Fortune comes up. So I got the one
bonus
on top,
pops up.
the gold one in the middle. So I hit it, and it's spinning and spinning. I really don't even know what I'm doing at this point. And it lands on 15X. It lands on 15X. So I'm thinking I get 15 spins of the real one, the real Wheel of Fortune. That's what I'm thinking. No. I hit the Wheel of Fortune, and it stops at 150 quarters this time. And all of a sudden, the machine starts shaking, the lights start going off. I won 15 times 150 quarters. And I went back with the breakfast in my hand, and I said, I got to tell you this story. And I told him the story, and I showed him the ticket, because you know how you print out the ticket? $582.50.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So I said to myself, that's why I paid for breakfast right there.
Yeah.
Good karma.
It was cool. But so like I said, thanks again. It was we had a great time, and
anytime.
Doing it again next year. The only issue I had, Wes, is too many edibles, I think, Sunday night. I was with guys I knew, so I was fairly comfortable, but I remember hitting an 8. I had 6 and 8. I was on the bet with the roller. I cashed an 8. It was a quarter table, but I'm up money, so I'm playing quarters. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I do not remember another thing the rest of that night. But I woke up bed alive and everything's well. And it was because again, they're so easy to chew. Edibles are easy to get, and they're easy to chew and swallow. They taste good. Everything's fine until about 3 hours later when all right. So let's look at the next thing I want to talk about is your playoff thoughts. So let's start with Wes. Wes, what's the biggest thing that you're shocked about, and the one thing that doesn't surprise you at all going into Super Bowl 56?
Well, weeks ago, you took some footage of it. I said these collection of talent teams don't work, and I was dead wrong. But what I'm shocked about is that the 2 teams that have made it to the Super Bowl have played really well in a tournament. They were never the best teams in football. They fought for their place to be in the dance. And, every now and then that happens with one team, but, so I wouldn't say I'm shocked, but that's been an interesting point in the playoffs. I'm shocked. And you call me a Chiefs fan, call me whatever you want, but I'm shocked that the Chiefs couldn't close that game out, 2 weeks ago. I'm not shocked that Joe Burrow is where he is. I mean, that is a quarterback that he don't care. I mean, he just shows up and he just does what he needs to do. And I mean, I will say the part that I'm very surprised by is how good the Cincinnati defense actually is. And the part of Joe Burrow that is really impressive to me is that he has elevated the entire team. Throwing bombs, throwing touchdowns, showing up, getting sacked, and finding a way to make last-minute drives and win. That doesn't surprise me. But the fact that his presence and confidence has elevated, I mean, that is a real good defense that has shown up 3 weeks in a row against great offenses. So I would say that's the biggest surprise is that Cincy D.
Yeah, well, they're not giving up points. And one of the things we talked about the other night, it was on with the MD show, is how many unders are screaming out. And, whether, and I've got it right here. I mean, The Rams in the first quarter, half one, Cincinnati half two, and for the game, I mean, Cincinnati in the second half, the last team to score more than 10 points in the second half against Cincinnati, and they're of 11, their last 11 games, it's only happened once, was actually Los Angeles. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Of course, it was the Chargers. It was the Chargers. So, what about you, John? Same two questions. Biggest surprise, biggest not surprise.
Yeah, I think, well, obviously, if you do a timeline of the previous shows, it was both me and Wes. We weren't very convinced about the LA Rams. It was just something didn't look right to me, especially the way they ended the year. I wasn't a fan of them, so I'm impressed about how they continue to do what they do here in the playoffs. Obviously, I'd have to say the emergence of OBJ has extremely, helped them, and it's been a great advantage to them. Addition obviously to Cooper Kupp, who's one of the top wide receivers in the game. The defense has been there, but now the defense is playing well. So I'm not shocked at Cincinnati. It's the same thing. I'm probably shocked about their defense, how they played in that second half. I'm looking forward to a great game. It should be an awesome Super Bowl. And man, yeah, I don't really know. I'm glad that both these teams are there. It's a little bit of a kind of a different feel for a Super Bowl. I think we're so used to KC, and then obviously the Brady talk with Bucks and previously the Patriots. So I'm glad we get to see a little different matchup here.
No doubt about it. And the other aspect of it is, of course, the fact that the Rams were just there and scored 3 points. So that they've been itching. Atlanta, if Atlanta ever gets back, they'll be itching too. But by the time Atlanta gets back, it'll be a different roster.
I think it's gonna be a little bit of a while. Yeah, we're gonna have to see a turnaround there.
All right, so let's see where we're at. I'm gonna have, if it's okay with you, Wes, I'm gonna have you check on the basketball score while I kind of work on my. I've got a parlay I'm going to put in here for 6 o'clock, so it's not going to be a live action, but we're going to talk about it here as soon as I get it in. So fill me in on the.
So right now we're Coastal. It's 42-35. So Coastal's down by 7, which that's the cash zone right there. They were down 11. We laid 1.5 for the second half, which is the equivalent of 9.5. So they're right where they need to be. They can lose the game by 9, and that'll still cash for us. So Coastal's doing exactly what they need to do, and I don't have a score on Duke.
How about you, John?
Duke's up 10, 16-6. Very early in the game, only 8 minutes went by. So, but it's a good start for Duke. Obviously, we're up by 10, so that's
well, you know what?
Good way to be.
If John gives me a play, I bet it early and I bet it often. It's kind of like voting in Chicago. But there are some great games tonight. I never ended up making my NCAA bets. I'm not going to blame the edibles for that, but I'll take 51% of the blame. So what I was gonna do. We talked all day, Wes, on Saturday, and I had about 6 plays I was gonna put in, and I had them all figured out. I was gonna double down and get to have a ticket that I could sell prop swap. I never got to it, but one of those teams was Purdue, and the reason I didn't pop on Purdue is because they were down to 8-1 at this point. But Purdue was playing tonight, and they're just playing really, really good basketball, aren't they?
They are, and they're playing in a tough conference. I'll tell you, the one that I never forget to play is Gonzaga. Their Gonzaga is really, their team totals are very much reminding me of the Oregon Ducks football team of about 10 years ago, where they got to cover 37.5. They got it. They're ahead by 48 at the half. I mean, Gonzaga is just putting up all kinds of points. So they're always the latest game. And you taught me, you bet the last one of the day first.
Yeah. John, do you remember we were at the bar, we just got downtown, and I tried to hop on live action on Gonzaga. The only line I could get, the only line my book offered on that at this point right now was a team total 100.5. I had a college basketball team with 100.5, and I woke up the next day and they had scored 104 points.
Gotta love when that happens. Yep.
Crazy ass stuff.
And they're doing it. This game tonight, it's 46.5 is the team total for the first half. I remember last week, John called out a number that was going to go under, and wasn't it like a baseball score at the halftime? But
Yeah,
Gonzaga has got a line that would have been more than that total game.
more
for the
than that
first
total
half.
alone.
Yeah,
Correct.
it is crazy. All right, so what else I got on here? I got on so lately it should be second half John. That's what I know. Second half John. All right, so what about the NBA? What's going on? Wes, I'm going to talk to you first because I know that you've been watching it, but you're saying that you don't want nothing to do with it, huh?
Well, the NHL, just out of tradition, the NHL I lay off the week after the All-Star break because teams pivot and coaching and teams get healthy and there's some refocusing and that happens with the NHL. So I lay off the NHL the week after the All-Star break, sometimes even 2 weeks. Weird things happen. The NBA in general, I just don't trust it. And quite frankly, I don't need it. Like we are having such good success with college hoops right now. And then you sprinkle in a couple Olympic plays. I mean, you and I cashed quite well the other day with the USA ladies against Canadian ladies. I mean, that was a great hockey game to watch. So I don't need the NBA. I don't need to figure out who's going to show up and who's fighting with who. And I just don't need it right now. We're in full college hoops mode, and we got the Super Bowl this weekend. And so NHL, NBA, I'm cashing other ways, and there's nothing wrong with it. The name of the game is cashing tickets.
What about you?
Yeah, NBA is still, I think personally, one of my hardest sports to bet on. Very tricky. Salute to anybody who's doing well in NBA. That'd probably be the last board that I look at. There are a few plays, when I glance at the lines that I like. Obviously, the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been a bright spot throughout the whole, I would say, season. Ja Morant is playing unbelievable. So we have taken advantage of some Grizzly opportunities. The Miami Heat right now are starting to pick up a little bit. But, these last couple of days, there's some trade deadlines. Obviously, we have James Harden, who just moved from the Nets over to Philadelphia. So now we have James Harden, arguably one of the top players in the game, moving to one of the top seeds to another rival in the East. So the same way, I'm going to lay off very, very choosy on what I play with the NBA. I'm going to pick my spots. Right now, I'm all about college basketball. Like Wes said, if you're cashing tickets, why stay away from that? I'm familiar with college. That's what's paying us right now. So let's stick with the bread and butter.
One pro game, because I've mentioned before, both my kids are basketball fans. My oldest son, Chaz, likes he likes football too, but Chris will watch basketball all day long. And so we watched Golden State get embarrassed the other night. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but they're coming back tonight. So I looked, and they didn't score but 80-some points, I think, the other night. And
the other night, yeah.
So I looked. I had to go back, but the last time they scored 90 points in a game or less, the next night they scored 130. So I'm going to get their points tonight. So I got a note that I am going to have Golden State Warriors on the team total over. That is later tonight, of course. The parlay that I just put in while you guys were kind enough to talk is St. Mary's, Purdue, Oregon, and Gonzaga. These are teams that I've been following. And you know my philosophy. Yep. Bet them all, but always, always, always put in that parlay with all your plays for that once every 2 or 3 weeks where you sweep the board with a 6 or 5 or 6 or 7 plays and you hit it.
Yep.
Well, you get an awful lot of units back for your effort for that little, so
that's the icing on the cake right there, when you're able to hit those. So
so that's where I'm at. So let's do this. We don't have a new championship football spots. So rather than playing the old one, I'm going to just let everybody know that the way it works is at 3:00 today, we started our 72-hour sale, right? It goes from Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday, 72 hours. Basically, the football is half price at championshipfootballs.com. If you're a Rams fan, or a Rams fan, or if you're a Bengals fan, or a Bengals fan, it's a perfect time for you because if they lose, we give you your money back. We've done it every year for 12 years. Nobody ever complains about it because half the time, guess what? Somebody's winning that game that we've got.
Somebody's going to win. Yeah.
They're getting basically a football at half price. So go to championshipfootballs.com. And if you're a Rams fan or a Cincinnati Bengals fan and they win the Super Bowl, it really is going to be the coolest present they open that day, guaranteed. All right, so
Very sure.
what else do we've got to talk about that I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about the difference between betting the Super Bowl and betting the props for the Super Bowl. And I remember one time talking to Matt Holt when he's got his own business now, but he was back at the it was in one of those books that they ran the John in Vegas, the technologies, right? What's the name of that?
The old IGT. Yeah. They used to run the Palms, and they ran a couple of other ones.
About 12 books in. And so
Yeah.
he would say that
Cancer gaming. Yeah.
people don't realize how long it takes you to come up with all those props. They literally
Takes a long time.
for hours and hours and hours, you know? So
It's a sheet. I got one. It's probably about double-sided, at least 10 pages.
oh yeah, for
And-
sure.
and-
There's hundreds of them. So the question is, what percentage? We'll start with Black Oak Course. What percentage of your plays on the Super Bowl specifically this Sunday are going to be on a team or an over versus props?
Well, I approach this the way we approach every other football game. And this is a Monday night football game to me. This is a Monday night, a Sunday night. And you guys, I've been very outspoken about how I feel about those games. They're pretty dangerous. So, I will take a position on the teams. I have a strong opinion on what side I'm on for this game. But as far as the props go, there's no Gatorade color. There's no coin flip. I'm looking for value, and this is an investment. So to bet on Cooper Kupp to score an anytime touchdown for minus 190, there's no value there. I'm looking for anything that's plus 175 or better that I think has a chance to hit. And last year Gronk scoring a touchdown was plus 300. Can you believe that, Gronk? So if you hit a plus 300, that covers three of them. So I'm looking for a good balance of anytime touchdowns, because there's going to be 4 touchdowns, maybe 5 or 6 in this game. So I'll go there. And then I'll go on a minus 140, a minus 150 if I think it's going to cash. So percentage to total, I'm betting half units. So most people would tell you that a unit is 1/100th of your bankroll. So I'm betting half units on these individual scorers and things like that, because they have a chance to pay. But I don't approach the Super Bowl as if it's all over tomorrow. Like, I'm going to wake up Monday morning and I'm going to be looking at a basketball game. And most of the day on Sunday, I'm going to be playing the Gulfstream card. So this is 365 for me. Nothing's over, and it's just like any other game.
Yeah, well, it's funny because there's not a lot of stuff on the board Sunday afterwards, but there's a Los Alamitos will run. There'll be a dog track or two out there. So, but the thing that I wanted to mention is I had my 4 plays. I picked for Cincinnati Mixon, for San Francisco somebody else, it was Samuel, for the Rams it was Kupp, and who'd the Rams play?
San Francisco.
I was there for Samuel. So I didn't have Hill. I didn't have Hill. Hill scored the first touchdown, but I did have Kupp, and he was 11-2, which was the biggest favorite of all the 4. So I loaded up on him. That was a really nice cash because I was still fairly sober at that point. I actually remember getting, but so the other aspect of the props is they're there for the people that don't do this every day, like you and I and John West. They're there for the guy that's wants to bet heads, and he's all excited when the heads comes up in the Super Bowl, and he doubled his money, and he's a happy man. What about you, John? Give us a breakdown.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If you're having fun betting the Gatorade color, if you're having fun betting heads or tails, then God bless you. I'm not going to tell you to do anything to take away from your personal experience of the game. But as an overall investment betting strategy standpoint, absolutely not will I be doing any of that nonsense, whatever. So like I said, God bless everybody who can do that. Nothing wrong with that. I'll probably do a little bit more prop betting, similar situation in the West. I'm trying to find something of value, as far as who's going to win MVP. I'm looking, at that 8-1, that 10-1 odds. And once again, I'm throwing, this is strictly lunch money, $10, $15, $20, something where I can watch the game, have fun, get interacted with the game and see who's going to score. But this is by no means nothing that I'm laying any substantial amount of money on. I see people coming to Vegas and once again, God bless them, this is the all game and they're putting 20, 30, 40, $50,000. If you have the money to do that and you like doing that, then by all means go do that. But yeah, I'm in the same boat with Wes. This is just another game. I'll probably play this a little bit less than I do normal games. Throw a couple dollars here and here on some prop bets and just enjoy the game and sit back and watch, drink, have some food, enjoy the time with friends and family and enjoy the game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So let's talk then about some of the prop. Well, no, let's do this. Let's talk about the game first. We'll talk about the game first because Wes teased earlier. I heard the tease. I don't know if you caught the tease, John. Did you catch the tease?
I did.
I have some strong opinions about this game. That was like the
he was fired up.
In the old days, you remember when the guy the telemarketer or the TV show, they want you to call the number. I have strong opinions about Oklahoma. Tell us your opinion.
So I think when you look at this game, and I kind of hinted at it earlier, I think that the matchup that really jumps off the page at me is the Cincinnati defense against the Rams offense. There's a very popular opinion that the Rams have this overwhelming offense that is just going to, with OBJ and Kupp and, two-headed monster running back. I'm looking at what this Cincinnati defense was able to do in Kansas City against, argue whatever you want, you're building a franchise. Mahomes is either one or two at quarterback. So what Cincinnati was able to do against Kansas City's offense, but if you go backwards, Tennessee's offense is very well balanced with a monster of a running back. And you can go back to the Oakland game, Vegas, the Raiders. That's a very good offense. So the Cincinnati defense against that Rams offense is, I think, an overwhelming mismatch in favor of Cincinnati that most people don't acknowledge. So Burrow's going to get sacked. Burrow's been sacked 9 times in this playoff and came back and won a game. Burrow was down in Kansas City, the loudest stadium in the world, and somehow came back and won the game. So there was only one scenario in the playoffs where the underdog covered and didn't win, and that happened last week. It was San Francisco. It was 3.5, and the game was a 3-point. So when I look at this game, it's 4, it's 4.5, it's 5. No matter where you go with it, I think that Cincinnati's defense is going to make the difference. And I'm on the Bengals side of things. I like the Bengals. I like the points. I think that they can do a lot of different things, and Joe Burrow can very easily exploit a defense. He's got 3 capable receivers. So that's where I said I'm taking
that game. You were at that game last week.
I was.
The end of the first half. What the hell happened? Because it turned out to be a pretty important part of the end of the game.
It was. I had a Bengals fan sitting behind me. Great guy. Ohio State fan, Bengal fan. We were talking, and I will say, kudos to the Bengals fans. They were a great group of people. There was, it was about 9-1 great people to jerks. There was 1 jerk to every 9, but they were a great group of people to be around, and it was over. I mean, the second quarter, it was over. We were chanting Super Bowl. I mean, it was. And, the ongoing joke around the stadium is, if you look up and you see Jackson Mahomes hanging out of the box, there's something bad that's going to happen. But, the game was over. There was no question in the stadium. We were chanting for the Super Bowl. We were talking about all kinds of things that were going to take place in the city. And Smoking Joe did it. He did his thing.
Yeah, no, every ticket, the cash, right? Every ticket cash in the first half. If I had eaten all the edibles then and passed out, I would have been really shocked to wake up and see the final score.
Well, and we were on the right side of it. That our call on that game, and John was not with us. Our call on that game was over 16.5 second quarter. So we were on the right side of things financially. We knew that's where it was going to be. Don't touch the points. Don't lay them. Don't take them. And so we were on the right side of that. As a fan, what the hell just happened to us? That was the feeling walking back to the car.
Yeah, because if they had, 24-10, 28-10, oh my God, it's a whole different animal in halftime. But they just ran out of time and then didn't score. And then you just don't see. And that was really a precursor. And I did mention to anybody who will listen, because the same stats that I had on the second half for Kansas City or for Cincinnati this week are the same ones I had. Just add one more game to it. Nobody's scoring on them. Their record in the second half is 10-2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9-2 in their last 11. They've had all but one of them go under. And the reason is simple. They're not allowing points at halftime. So that's definitely going to be something that is going to be impacting how I play this game in live action. What about you, John?
Yeah, for the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be a very close game. I obviously, I've been riding the Bengals, pretty much throughout the whole playoffs. Big fan of theirs. Love the, Burrow and Chase combination. These guys are going to have numbers, they're going to put up for a lifetime if they can stay healthy, obviously, and move forward. As much as I've been bashing the Rams, I'm probably going to lean the Rams just due to the experience, I think. The experience they have on the defensive side, the experience they have on the offensive side, being there recently, obviously not performing well. I think that's going to kind of light a fire under the coaching staff, and they're going to, want to come out and show something here. Would I be surprised if Cincinnati wins? Absolutely not. But I would lean the Rams just in part of their overall just experience. I think it's going to be a good game. It should be fun to watch. Probably, maybe might even lean the under, I think, too, because, Cincinnati's defense has been playing well, so I think it's going to be a close game. I think these guys are probably going to feel each other out for that first quarter, and then you might start to see things open up.
Yeah, in terms of the over-under, yeah, I really think that if you like the over, you should be patient. You should be patient. I really do. I think if you like the under, I would bet it. I would bet it right away. That's my opinion. I'm just seeing so much defense here. We're talking about the Cincinnati defense the whole time, but like Wes mentioned, they might be paid soldiers, mercenaries over on the Rams side. But when they went out and got him, they got the best cornerback in the league, right? Mm-hmm. When was the last time there was a defensive MVP in a Super Bowl? They got him, right? Aaron Donald, no matter whether he's, because you got to think when he was young and they sometimes put first name last name first. His real name may be Donald Aaron for all we know. The bottom line is it doesn't matter. You can't stop him no matter what you call him. And then who's the guy that's getting no they picked up another guy that's getting no data. He's got no tackles. He's got no nothing, but he's making a difference because numbers he's on the field.
They got Von Miller from Denver. Yeah.
They got Von Miller, but they picked up Aaron Weddle out of retirement, and man, did he make an impact last week.
Yep.
Amazing, just amazing. So I'm pretty excited about it. So let's do this. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some props. I've got a few opinions on some props for Super Bowl 56, and I'm assuming John will and sure will Wes. You're listening to Sports Betting Weekly on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. You're going to catch us also on sportsbettingweeklylive.com and the Sports Betting Channel.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
At championshipfootballs.com, they offer a 100% money-back guarantee on every single souvenir football that they sell. The coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed. There's nothing worse than trying to find the right gift for somebody that already has everything. Whether that special present is for a New England Patriots fan or an Ohio State Buckeyes backer. Maybe Grams is a lifelong New York Giants supporter. Or your brother-in-law is a 12th man living in Seattle. Know a member of the Michigan State Alumni Association? Is there a better Father's Day gift for someone who's a Baltimore Ravens fan? Send them the coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed. Now, if your favorite pro team is the Buffalo Bills or those Minnesota Vikings, well, they're sorry about that. Also, if you're a New Mexico State Aggies or Tulane Green Wave alumnus, not much they can do. After all, the name isn't nice effort, you had a pretty good season, footballs.com. The name is championshipfootballs.com. The coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed.
Hey, this is an important message. I'm Second Half Chaz from Sports Betting Weekly. Sports betting is supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. If you're hurting yourself by gambling with money you don't have, check out our website for the Gamblers Anonymous phone number.
When Vince Young scored on 4th and 5 in the 2006 Rose Bowl, two things happened. The Texas Longhorns won the NCAA title, and ChampionshipFootballs.com was born. From Texas to Alabama to Ohio State, and now for Super Bowl winners too. ChampionshipFootballs.com is the place for the coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed. Now, 10 years later, ChampionshipFootballs.com has the autographs too. See if any of these names remind you of a special time in your football life. Michael Bennett, Lou Holtz, Joe Montana, Devin Smith, Jameis Winston, Rocky Blyer, Rocket Ishmael, Ara Parsegian, Mike Stonebreaker, Chris Zorich, Luther Bradley, Todd Light, Tony Rice, Lawrence Taylor, Dave Casper, Marcus Mariota, Rudy Rudiger, David Tyree. Enter the promo code RADIO and you'll instantly save $50 on any of the ChampionshipFootballs.com autographed footballs. ChampionshipFootballs.com. The coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Sports Betting Weekly.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Chicken dinner.
Welcome back to Sports Betting Weekly. I am Second Half Chaz. I am joined again this week by John from GMF Sports Consultants and Black Hawk West of 151 Sports Investing. And it is, if it's about 8:40, about 20 to 9, first of all, you're about 20 minutes away from catching the loudmouths. If you hang around, they will be on right after us. And what else? Oh, you're rooting for Duke and you're rooting for Coastal Carolina tonight. And then later on, you some other people. But right now, let's get an update. You got an update on the Duke score, John?
Yeah, Duke is up by 7 right now. 3 minutes left to go in the half. It's been a back and forth game. Duke was actually up by 13 at one point in the first half. Clemson's hanging on, but at least Duke is still up, so that's a good sign. And we're going to see how the second half goes.
Yep. Of course, I got him for the first half. I'm giving 4.
There was this guy went for a breakaway dunk and landed almost flat on his back and head. That's not good.
Bummer.
Yeah.
You know what? I personally have never been that high in the air off of my own legs. But those guys, sure. You go up that high, you fall down, it hurts. No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
What about Coastal Carolina? It looks like they're slipping backwards a little, West.
They're going the wrong way in Conway. That's for sure. We're Coastal's down by 16. We need them to be down by 9 or better. So they're not going in the right direction. We got 3.5 minutes to go. I'm hoping that Georgia State calls off some dogs.
Yeah, you know what? Again, at the end of a basketball game, it's tough if you've got the over and a team has a big lead. It's tough if you have the team that has to foul. That's never good. You know, there's certain things about them. And it seems like when I need a guy like Houston, did you guys see the Houston game last night? The end of the Houston game. The guy gets fouled on a 3. These guys shoot 60% from 3, and I can't get him to hit the first.
You can't get him. Yeah.
He really reached the rim. And then I had because I had already hit, you know, it was I hit the first over. So I bet a little bit more on the second over, and I bet a little bit more on the third over. So I already hit 2. I wasn't being greedy, but I had 90.5 at plus 170 or something. And so I needed the overtime. I would have got that easy. And I thought I had it. With 2.5 seconds left, they fouled the guy. He's shooting 3. He's going to hit all 3 of them. Wasn't meant to be. So
this Houston team is very different than the one that we were rallying around last year. They were a big go-to for us last year. This year, they're still real strong off the boards, but they're not a guaranteed 85, 90 points a game like they were last year.
No. Last year they shot the lights out. I mean, I'll never forget that one. There was one game. It was almost over at halftime. Because we were talking, the 3 of us were talking.
Yeah.
Vic and I had gone to the hotel. We did a staycation, and I came back. I came back for something because we were 2 blocks from the house. I ran home for something, and literally, they was almost over in the first half.
They're not as efficient from three, and also their defense hasn't been what it was last year either. You were having them create opportunities where they were shooting threes, getting back on defense, stopping, and then being able to shoot another three. Before you knew, they were up by 12 or 15 points. This year, it's a little bit different. They're playing a little bit style of basketball.
Because when the three goes in, everything changes. The momentum of the team goes down. Your momentum goes up. But when a three misses, you get long rebounds. The guys are on fast breaks. You got, you're playing. Sometimes it's 5 on 3, because two guys are hanging back. That the guys that were in the corner. It's definitely a difference. So it looked like Coastal Carolina is making a move here. They got it within 10, right?
They do.
So we need it. We need them to keep going. We need them to keep going. All right. So let's talk about. We got a chunk of the show left. Let's talk about some props. Now, one of the things that with me is I'm the first guy to score a touchdown. So let's see. I bet 330s and a 40. So that's 130. So I got 2-1. I ended up getting 2-1 on my investment because I bet all four. I bet 4 different human beings. And remember, guys, betting human beings, you really should probably look in a mirror to begin with. But you can't complain when you lose, But it was nice because, again, I could barely tell at that point that it was Cup. I didn't know his number. I didn't know where he was lined up. They were fairly close to the end zone, I think, if I remember. It's like a 15-yard touchdown or something. But I was excited. So I'm coming right back with Cup. And you know what? I realized that, remember, I'm not talking about anytime touchdown at -190. I'm talking the first touchdown of the game.
First touchdown.
Yeah, and I'm coming back with Chase again. I mean, how could you not come back with Chase? He's the only one that really consistently has been getting in the end zone. Again, we talked about against Kansas City, he scored. Against Tennessee, Mixon was the only touchdown. Against Vegas, there were 2 touchdowns, neither guys. I mean, Cleveland, they only had 2 touchdowns. If you look at the way Cincinnati plays the game, Cup and Chase are really 2 guys that are difficult to cover and make big plays. And they've done it all year long. I mean, remember, Chase had a 3 touchdown game against Kansas City in week 17. Think about that. All right. So where are we in terms of props for you, John?
The same thing. I'll probably sprinkle a couple. I like the first touchdown, but I'm looking, I'm going to go something that's maybe 10-1, 12-1. I'm probably going to put in, I would say I'm going to spread it out to maybe 8 to 10 bets. I'm going to put in first touchdown. I'm going to put in an MVP, and I'm doing something that's going to be close to double-digit value. That way, if 1 or 2 of them hits, I get my money back, or I, make a little bit. I'm not really, focusing on this being a big investment as far as unit wise or anything like that. So that's where I like to have those, those rare MVPs where people would never think. And then I'm like, no, I picked that. Yes. I think if you're going to do it for a game, you might as well do it for a Super Bowl,
No, it makes sense. And it really is. Part of the props is you got to look at what you think is going to happen and kind of line your props up accordingly. Otherwise, then what, you're 6 of one, half dozen of the other. What about you, Wes?
It doesn't.
So there's a few of them I'm looking at. I mean, you guys know I'm kind of cheesy. I like, my daily fantasies. You throw $1 in and a chance to win $1 million. I've done quite well with them. It's not a primary focus, but on Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, I like to play those. So I'll have that going. But on the props, I'll tell you, I'm looking at the tight ends. I believe that a tight end is going to score a touchdown in this game. So if you are on my side and you share that opinion, both tight ends, Higbee and Uzama, Higbee is plus 260, anytime scorer, and Uzama is plus 320. So you're going to get better than 2-1 on both of them if either tight end scores a touchdown. So I'm going there first. And then there's the other one I really like is Tyler Boyd. If you look at the most duress that Joe Burrow was under, he found Tyler Boyd. He found him for a couple of times in this playoffs in odd spots. So he's plus 175. So I'm going there. And then, this one's kind of a long shot, but I think, one out of these 3 is going to cash, which buys me, some leeway. I like Joe Burrow to run one in for plus 600. I don't know that he's going to do a 30-yard dash into the end zone, but he just may on 3rd and goal at the 1 tuck it under somebody's rear end and lean forward for plus 600. So there's good value there. And then every Super Bowl, no matter what, I take both defense and special teams to score a touchdown. Both of those are plus 150. So if either team gets any type of a return or an interception or any form of touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm a Chicago guy. I remember that we were winning the Super Bowl when Devin Hester took that kickoff. So that was the best and worst Super Bowl of my life.
That one I don't remember much afterwards because I had him 40 to win of 40 to, and 13 seconds in I had a grand and he was 40 to 1. I had a quarter on him. Ended up winning like $1,300 that day. Don't remember anything after that.
It was the whole world said, what if he does it? Oh my God, he could do it. Oh my God, he did it. And I mean, that was the only player like that. And I'm looking forward to seeing him make the Hall of Fame this weekend.
No doubt about it. Yeah, you know what? I like the long touchdown. I actually cashed on the Brady through a pick for one. So that would have been a double cash. If you've got the longest TD of the game and any defensive touchdown, and the guy runs a 70-yard touchdown return back, and I love, me, there's nothing better than catching a lot of tickets in one play. And I did that when I had whoever the guy was that scored the one touchdown the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl. I forget who it was now. He was the first touchdown. He was the first Patriot touchdown, and he was the last touchdown. So it was 3 catches on one guy, and that's always good. The other one that I like is I like an alternate line here. I think if the Rams click on offense, I think the Rams could score some points. You know what? And but I'm not taking that 4. They're either going to win by 10 or I hope Cincinnati wins the game. So I'm looking for an alternate line. So I'll sprinkle some money on the alternate lines. Will either of you guys have Cincinnati given points?
No, I mean, if you like Cincinnati, I think you almost have to go that way. You might as well take it that route if you're on the Cincinnati side. I'm probably going to sprinkle a little bit on Rams -4. Anything more than 4, I'm probably not going to be too well invested in at that point. But yeah, if you like Cincinnati Bengals, I think you got to sprinkle some money line and some, obviously some alternative spreads at that option.
Yeah, I mean, you go -3.5.
I've said it all playoffs. If you like the dog, just play the money line.
Yeah.
In these dogs, in this playoff run, a lot has to go wrong for the dog to even cover. And if they cover, they're going to win. And there's only one time where the dog has covered and not won. So if you truly believe Cincinnati, go ahead, give up the points. To me, this is a Sunday night, Monday night football game, which is a no touch. I said I like Cincinnati in this game, but my investment interest is on some random props and, daily fantasy and value. So if you like Cincinnati, lay 2.5 because that's probably a good margin of victory.
It's got to be more than money line, right? You're talking about basically almost a touchdown swing because in some places it's 4.5.
Yeah,
4.5 to 2.5 is 7 points all day long, right? So, let us know.
I had an alternative. Yeah, I had an alternative. Bengals. Oh, there's so many different ones you can play. Bengals win by 1 to 3 points is 9-2. Bengals win by 4 to 6 points. That's getting you 8 to 1. So
I
getting 8 to 1 here.
Those bets, the ones you're mentioning, I don't play those because I would rather if my team has to win by 3 to 6 points and they win by 7 and I lose, I'm going to be really pissed.
You're going to be pissed. Yeah. That's almost kind of like the guess the score thing. That's almost more. You might as well go play lotto and go put some money on the Powerball if you're going to do that.
I'm seeing if you wanted to lay 2.5 on Cincinnati on my book, I'm seeing plus 185 if you laid 2.5. Nice. And then if you wanted to lay, let's just say you want to lay 5.5. You believe that the Bengals are going to win by a touchdown. You're going to get plus 275. So if you believe that the Bengals are going to cover, you may as well take the plus 165 and take the money line, and you may as well take it a little bit further and lay your 2.5, your 3.5.
That's like in a parlay. Yep. That's like a parlay. All right,
it is.
Before we go, let's get looks like remember, you may not remember, but if you watch the video tomorrow, you'll see that I got shut out on plus 11.5, and I had to settle for plus 10.5 in the Coastal Carolina game. Now, it's not going to be, I'm not going to call that a bad beat or anything. They won by 11, right?
They won by 11. It's game over. So the good guys from 151 Sports did not get it done.
Put that up. Put that on SVP Bad Beats special tonight. So Duke is up 11 at half, 38-27. Solid half, playing very well. That's what I expected them to do off the loss. Hopefully they keep that momentum and keep building on that lead here.
All right, so this is our last show for football season, and the next time I will be talking with these guys will either be on 103.9 FM out of New York or on Wake and Bake once we get a cannabis sponsor. So if you know any cannabis companies that are struggling with their marketing, and I follow like 25 of them now, and it's amazing how few retweets and how few likes and how few activity their social media is getting. So if you have a cannabis company and you like them, let me know about it and I will contact them, because I'm telling you right now, after being in Vegas, John, and seeing people drinking it and smoking it and eating it, the same guys you bet with in the morning, you bounce into at the dispensary that night. It's
exactly.
So we got to get out of here, John. Tell them how to find you.
GMF _sports consultants on Instagram. Hit me up. You'll see all my stuff right on there.
I'm telling you right now, either one of these guys, best investment you can make. What about you, Wes?
151 Sports on either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and Chicago Options Trader. Use the promo code 151 Sports. You get a discount on your membership.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, the loud mouths are next. I am second half Chaz. Thanks for listening. It was just an incredibly great football season for us in terms of just cash and tickets and winning money. It was really, really a lot of fun. So I thank everybody involved. This is the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, or you're listening on Belly Up Sports Podcast Network at the Sports Betting Channel or at Sports Betting Weekly Live. But do me a favor and always be cashing.